We we are recording as well, so if we'll be throwing quite a bit of information. So if there's anything you're not familiar with or don't remember, we will be posting a video probably later today. Hey, that guy's got the spirit right there.
All right, I know some people are going to come a little late, so let's just go ahead and get started. I know y'all's time is important and valuable, so let's go ahead and I guess we'll start with a little bit about myself and James Moreno, who's my partner on the project. And my name is Robert Creamer. I got my degree in real estate from North Texas in 2004. Jumped headfirst into commercial real estate with KW for 10 years. Saw kind of the rise of a residential company getting into commercial, where they went to kind of the pluses and minuses, what worked, what didn't work. So we got to experience all that. We just moved over to EXP January 1 of this year. We're really excited for where the commercial division will be in a few years once they start rolling stuff out. But for now, we're working hard to provide as much value and opportunity and education to as many as we can. I mean, I know James and I both field probably 10 calls a week at least on commercial agents, or just have some help or questions with transactions across the country. So we're trying to find a way to bridge the gap, and so we can afford to spend enough time and help as many people as we can. So that's what we're trying to do. We think this is a pretty darn good start, and just know that as this grows, new, exciting, more things will be added. This isn't going to be a stagnant network. It's going to be constantly growing and improving every month. So, James, why don't you talk a little bit about maybe what we did last year as a group and a little about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Robert. So, as Robert said, I'm James Moreno. I'm one of the partners on this project. I've been in the business 5 years, and that entire time I've worked with Robert Creamer exclusively. He's been my mentor, and then we've kind of shifted roles into growing in to a partnership together. So, like Robert said, we got a ton of phone calls of agents cross country asking for us to talk to their commercial recruits, and then those commercial recruits asking what resources are available. And in the beginning, we had to, kind of let them know it's a little bit limited, but there are expectations in the next couple year or two for EXP Commercial to formally be launched. That kind of led to the idea that Robert and the team and the rest of us came up with, that well, why don't we create a resource for everyone to help bridge the gap until that time comes. As far as our group, we came over from Keller Williams. We brought over the largest commercial team in terms of volume last year. Last year we did 90 million in sales. Kind of our bread and butter is referrals from residential agents. Last year we paid 150,000 in referral fees, and we just came over to EXP with that same mentality that with workplace and everything else they have, that we'll be able to expand upon that. So yeah, that's kind of where we are and who we are and where we came from, and I'll let Robert kind of jump into our program.
Sorry, I took myself off. I was on mute. I wanted to say we came up with the name 7S, 7 streams, for the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, and that's kind of where the premise started. We want to create and help grow as many millionaires as possible. So we are pretty excited about the name. I like it as much as we do. So let's go and get started here. Don't mind, just hold the questions till at the end. We're going to go over a lot of information, take notes. If you don't want to ask here, you can certainly ask. We can talk later. But yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Feel free to use the chat box, and we can answer at the end as a recap.
Yeah. So, one thing we were wondering, we kept getting asked is, what would it look like if our company had, monthly training, coaching calls, accountability, a cool system to track sales? How can we get access to CoStar? What about LoopNet? Oh my gosh, the discount at price. How about a marketing arm, a support system? What tools are we going to have available and when? Right? No one had a great answer, and we still frankly don't have a great answer. It could be 2019, it could be 2020. And even once EXP goes down that path, we don't know what it's going to be able to provide from a expense and liability standpoint. So, we're working through that pretty closely with the execs to see what that looks like. But for now, we don't have the stuff. So how can we get it, right? That's kind of what this whole 7S network's about. So kind of right there. It's supposed to be popping up on the side, but this is an important resource for EXP agents to gain access to training and best practices, guidance, and group coaching for commercial sales and leasing. The EXP workplace and cloud technology through the 7S network of up-to-date tools and resources in the commercial industry offered at group discount rates. The only way to get group rates is by numbers.
All right, so you may ask, what does that mean? So what we're looking to do is kind of package the resources we have as a commercial team. Keep in mind that we are an experienced commercial team. We've been doing this for years. We understand what tools that we need to be successful as commercial agents. We've been getting group rates since we started our team, and then we got the idea, well, how can we create a program that all EXP commercial agents around the country can benefit from? And immediately what came to mind is co-op. So co-op, the premise is, you pay like a membership or a joining fee, and you get discounted rates on everything. So what Robert and I did is we took a look at the numbers to see what we could offer to the EXP agents and what makes sense financially to where everybody wins. 7S network wins, so does the EXP commercial agents. They win because we're adopting a co-op mentality.
Let me try and shrink this a little bit. Sorry, my computer screen blew it up, so I got to scroll a little bit. So the golden value that we are we are going to implement with this 7S network is we're going to have a 30, 60, 90 jumpstart program and best practices library for anyone getting into commercial real estate. So a lot of people are asking, well, what happens if I just got started and I need help, right? So we want to have that 30, 60, 90 jumpstart and a best practices library, which has all the documents we've been using, all of our LOIs, our invoices, our purchase and sale agreements, etc. We're going to have group pricing packages on resources for EXP commercial agents, group coaching calls with the top EXP commercial agents. We're going to have 2 group coaching calls a month. And we're going to use a system called CTE, which we'll show you here shortly, which is an accountability business metrics tracking. Everything from how many phone calls you made to how many appointments you went on, what your conversion ratio is, how many sales you did, what your projections are. It's a really cool system to help track the production on a national level. So I know a lot of us were talking about, well, what's the production currently of EXP commercial agents? We have no idea. So with this tool, or people we get involved in using it, we're going to be able to track that national production and podcast that out. We're also going to have opportunities for individual coaching for those who do have an interest in the coaching.
So that brings us to resources. We've been talking about the tools and resources we've been using. This is a snapshot of the tools that we currently have as a part of 7 Streams that we are going to be offering for our co-op program. Those include CoStar, LoopNet, BuildOut, CTE, and Microsoft Office. CoStar, we all know about that. It's hard to get, and when you do, it's pricey if you're an individual agent. LoopNet, um, owned by CoStar, and it's mandatory that you have a subscription to them if you have a CoStar account. So again, it comes out to be pricey if you're a single agent. BuildOut is a really cool tool that's growing rapidly. We had it at KW, and I can tell you that now, once we got it again about 3 months ago, night and day difference. The tool is amazing. They've implemented things like retailer maps. What it is it's a marketing platform and also a syndication platform where you can create online brochures that look nice and neat. You work with designers and developers to customize it the way you want. And then you're able to put demographics, retailer maps to show retailers in the area, just a lot of great info. CTE was what Robert was talking about just a minute ago, where we can pull everyone's data and create our own for national tracking purposes so that we can leverage everybody else around the country to gain listings and market share through our metrics. And then the last resource is Microsoft Office. Our team has adopted Microsoft Office to hold documents, transaction documents, and use for letter of intents, Excel spreadsheets, all that. So that's a resource that's going to be in our resources as well. And we have some information about that. Robert, do we want to give a brief overview now, or do we want to save that for afterwards?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and show them, for those who haven't seen, maybe just pop into CoStar, see what that looks like, and then pop into...
Yeah, so if everyone can take a look to the screen to the right, not the main screen, I'll be running through that real quick.
Everyone see that screen?
So here's CoStar. This is the most powerful commercial real estate tool there is. It's the closest equivalent you can get to an MLS. It's a monopoly. It's a costly tool. Like Robert said, we have strength in numbers though. So if we can offer this to agents around the country, everyone wins because everyone's getting a massive discount on the tool. If you look at it, we can come over here for sale. They've got all sorts of metrics where you can customize, where you can look for office, flex, land. You can really get specific. You can break it down by property size, sale price, days on market.
It sounds like your audio dropped out.
Hey, James, you there?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right, so if you're looking at the screen, you can see that it's very customizable, and your search parameters, you can limit it to office, industrial. You can affect the property size, sale price, days on market. You can get it to exclude certain type of properties or include it. This is a powerful tool. As you can see, I pulled up the for sale records, and in this immediate area, I pulled up 405 records. If you go in and you mess with a couple of metrics, you can limit it down to what is works for you. So it's an amazing tool. We've had it for about 3 years, and there's nothing else like it. There's nothing that compares.
Welcome to BuildOut, the most dynamic marketing platform for streamlining your commercial real estate listing process. Unlike anything on the market, BuildOut can instantly turn your property data into beautifully designed documents, consistent with your brand and marketing materials.
Yeah, it's not working yet.
Drive business with...
Well, we can share the video with everyone afterwards. It's a really cool video. It just kind of gives an overview of what it is. Like I said, it's just an online marketing platform. I'm not sure what everyone uses, but it's one of the best tools for commercial agents. Then as I go ahead.
Yeah, we'll share either in the comments or in the commercial group page. We'll share all the links for BuildOut, for CoStar, LoopNet, CT, just so you can take a look at it and watch the video yourself. They're not very long, but they do explain kind of what they are. And then after, of course, we get a group. You went in a room, you can kind of make it little to be working properly. But those are the tools we're using. We use those every day. Just for simplistic terms, CoStar is your research arm. LoopNet is the marketing arm. BuildOut is our personal marketing arm. LoopNet would be like, I have a listing, I need to market it to the world. That's LoopNet. BuildOut allows me to put a great presentation together in order to send out to prospective people. CTs are accountability. In Microsoft Office, Microsoft Office, we didn't realize that they have a ton of tools we started using. Teams where we can get on video like a Zoom call or any other video calls we have. But it's been great. So we can share docs there, and it's been a lot better than we thought. We were using Gmail, so it's been great. Keep it going. Okay, so we broke down the cost because we had a team, right? We had to figure out what does this cost this team per person, because we were running a lot of the costs, and this is what we kind of came up with. Technology fee is $85. If you're a solo agent on BuildOut, you have to be a broker. You have to pay a $150 for the broker, then $150 for yourself. So it's $300 a person. LoopNet with LoopNet stuff, it's $681. I believe that was for a 10 listing package per month. And then CoStar, it's a single agent nationwide. That's $1487 per month per user. The XP's full cap, obviously, $16,000. Business card, we figured $250 a year. You see the price breakdown there. So the average that we looked at was at least $54,500. Being conservative, before taxes, closing gifts, gas, insurance, and general business expenses. So we were like, wow, that is a hefty price tag. What? Not to mention if someone's just getting into business, that's a really large pill to swallow, right? So just to be totally candid, we tell everyone getting into commercial real estate, we need you to have 6 months, at least 6 months, probably a year if you don't have a coach or a mentor. If you have 6 months or less, you need a mentor because you got to jumpstart your career because our role is on these transactions. So we don't want to put anyone in financial jeopardy ever. So that's why we're very transparent on what the reality is of our work.
Well, and looking at these costs, I mean, we are pretty much a standalone commercial company operating within EXP. So do you need all of these resources? You could probably get by without them, but at the same token, are you doing your clients a service by not having these resources? Are you really serving your client base by not having all of these commercial resources? And in my eyes, looking at it, it's pretty self-explanatory that you need these items.
Yeah, in the commercial world, and you got to pay to play. That's why we only make up 5% of the realtor pool. But for those who are intrigued, interested, we really want to make this as, I want to say, easy, as much back-end support as possible to make it as easy as possible. So if you look at the screen, you can see those posts. I believe this is the updated one, right?
Yeah, that's the updated pricing we got for 2019. We got that this morning.
So the individual cost for CoStar for one user after tax is $1,500 for the month. One user. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar, but CoStar has some pretty hardcore authentication in order to access the system. So you can't share it with other people's computers. What CoStar does is, if you log into CoStar, it says they send your phone a message saying, "Are you trying to log into CoStar?" You say yes. It pops open a QR reader, a code reader. Then the code pops up on your screen monitor. You have to scan it with your cell phone, and then it says you're approved. That's the only way right now to log into CoStar. It's very secure, and that's why they don't like sharing data. And they do everything they can to sharing the data, and that's why it's so expensive. But those are the costs. So as you can see, at 20 people, still over $335 per month per user. So what we're trying to do is with volume, we can get visitors starts being $250. So the more people we add, the
Hey, Robert, your audio is cutting out.
But now,
Yeah, it was there for a moment. So, yeah, as Robert was saying, we're just trying to get strength in numbers. The more people we have, the cheaper it is for everyone to go. You can see a huge difference if we have one user compared to if we get 20 people in our program. Everybody wins. If everyone's paying $330 a month compared to $1,400, I mean that savings alone almost pays for the entire year.
I'll let James talk about the fee structure.
So, as we mentioned, we are offering a co-op program. What we are looking at is a startup cost of $199, and what that really goes towards is Microsoft Office. You get Microsoft Office free with our program. I guess it's not really free; you're paying for it up front, and then a little setup cost to do that. As far as monthly costs, it's $500 a month, and then you get group pricing on all of our items. As far as CoStar, the way that they do their billing is there's one person being billed every single month, and they're responsible for everything. So what we ask for to reduce our risk is that if you're going to subscribe to CoStar, you need to pay 12 months in advance. And if we get those 20 members, it ends up being like $3,600, something like that, compared to paying the $1,500 a month. In 2 months, that's the equivalent of 2 months on doing it on your own. So I understand it can be a little costly up front, but you are saving $12,000 by looking at this program. So then we also did a breakdown of the savings or what your estimated pricing, what that goes down to if you look at our program. Again, we created this with the agent in mind to offer a resource. Again, this is a resource. It's not mandatory or anything like that. We are separate from EXP, but what we want to do is take the commercial agents that are doing business, that are lacking the resources right now, and give them an opportunity to get into the items that they need to be successful. So technology fee, that's an EXP expense. You can't help that. But build out, you can get that for $1,800 for the year. LoopNet is $1,575, where if you're doing that on your own, it's about $700 a month to get 15 listings for your account. CoStar, that would be $3,800. I'm sorry, I misspoke by $200. Then you have your cap, business cards. Microsoft Office is free, as I mentioned. CTE is free. 7S Network, that's $6,000 for the year, but we bill it monthly. We don't collect that up front. And then we've estimated you're going to have signage costs, photos, annual headshots. So you're looking at $38,000 at the end of the year. And so by using our program, we're estimating that you're saving just under $17,000 by buying into our co-op. So again, it's a little bit pricey, but in the long term, you're saving quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's a la carte. If someone doesn't want Pull-Out, someone doesn't want CoStar, you don't have, it's not mandatory. You don't have to do it. You can probably survive okay. Like James mentioned, if you want to do your client's justice and really have a commercial career, this is just cost of doing business. And we're just trying to get a discount rate on everything we can. So a few questions. We will get to those here shortly. Let's just do that. I guess we'll get to the questions right now. Let's see.
Well,
someone mentioned. Go ahead.
Oh, one thing just want to end on and one that slide is we have strength in numbers. EXP was created cloud-based so that we could leverage nationwide resources. We're looking to do the same thing. So we have strength in numbers. We want to utilize items like Workplace and CTE and Microsoft Office to connect everyone around the country and create a commercial division the way that us commercial agents would like to see it be run before it's told to us how it's going to be run. We can create something beforehand. I think there's a lot of strength in that, and we can make EXP commercial what we all want to see.
And someone said that if the audio was terrible, I apologize. We will have let's call it a 1-page or a 2-page flyer outlining all the details we can send out and post, which we will in all the commercial pages. So just be on the lookout for that. Someone asked, is this the national CoStar? Yes, this is for national CoStar. So by using my broker's license in Austin, we can get the national at that price. So you don't have to get local. This covers everything. Let's see. Prexy, we're not using Prexy. We actually like to build out much better. It's a more robust system. The best for our business. Do you have any other questions right now that we can help answer? Yes, you can get local CoStar, but if you look at the price, it just didn't make sense. If you want to be an individual on CoStar, I believe it's $850 or $925 a month, just for your local market. And that depends. Like if you're in Chicago, is that just Chicago or is that the state? And then is that national? So there are different levels, and they're not much cheaper. Unfortunately, CoStar has raised the prices again, and it's just it is what it is. If you get started, just private messages later, and we'll go through whatever we need to go through. Like I said, we're gonna have coaching opportunities. We have group coaching calls in the cloud. We're gonna have our own community in the world to go over deals. We're gonna mastermind there. So it's not just, we're not just trying to create a group. We're trying to create a network of people across the country, and we're all collaborating together. And we have to make it such that I can spend time not doing it and make it what it needs to be, which is basically a support system and support tools for everyone in our world trying to do commercial real estate.
So Nicole had a comment there that Texas is $395 just for the state. We're able to offer a cheaper price on a national level if we can get to X amount of users. So again, we have strength in numbers, and we get enough people to buy in, everyone wins.
Yeah, every state has a different price, unfortunately. And that doesn't include LoopNet. The LoopNet, it's once you get above 100 listings, as Nicole knows, it drops down to a rate from 25 to 28. But once you have 200 listings, it becomes 25 a piece, as opposed to right now, if we have like 5. We have a 40 listing package. We're paying $1,400 a month for our team.
And as far as the pricing, the way that's going to work is we're going to have a deadline date. We're going to, get as many members that we can to sign up so that we can figure out what our exact cost is going to be for everybody in CoStar. So if we can get to 20 users, we know everyone's cost, and then we can at that point collect. It's going to cost this much for the year, and then we'll just have a date, and we'll have it set, and we'll announce it, and everyone can, we can just pay at that point.
Yeah, so Beth, on the LoopNet listings, they do it based on listing count. So what we would do is we, unfortunately, like everything else with CoStar, you can't go down, right? So if you say, hey, we have 20 users, the next month we can't drop to 15. So once you get an idea of how many users we have, we'll start with like 100 listing package. And then if we find out we have 130, then we're going to bump it up. But we're assuming, of course, once we talk to people, we'll know more. We're assuming that everybody who's going to be a part of this will have a altering 5 listings at any one time, right? So you can have 5, sell 2, get 2 more, have 3, get 2 more later. That's just on average, right? And that'll be kind of the cost. If it increases, it increases. That's why we have to play accountants, right? All the money goes to a separate account, pay for CoStar and business, and then one of us has to be the accountant. We have to track who's got how many listings. All the money's there. It's going out to CoStar. CoStar is just fine. So it's going to be it's a business. We all wish CoStar and LoopNet were for easy. And unfortunately, to get CoStar, a lot of them are looking to get you can't do the group stuff without being a broker, unfortunately. They just make it very difficult, and we're trying to simplify it. And we have been approved by Texas, we've been approved by EXP, and we've been approved by CoStar. Well, if you're with EXP, you should be you should be on a board. I think the rule is if your head broker of the company is a board of any kind member, you have to be a member of a board, period. But state broker has to join the commercial board. The state broker does not. I am a broker in the state of Texas, so everyone will fall underneath my broker's license with CoStar. And no, you do not become a broker eventually.
Okay, so Robert, just something I don't know if other people are thinking about this. So, do you, what are the other requirements of joining the 7-Stream network?
Sure, outside of what we talked about. Do you have a specific question, Mike?
Well, you were saying that in order to start executive, and I know that there was some comments earlier, but like last time, something about they would have to join your group. Does that mean that as far as EXP, they would be underneath your group in order to be able to take advantage of all of the resources and tools that the 7-Streams network is offering?
Yeah, someone said can we post the requirements? Yes, we will post the requirements, and one of those is you can still self-brand. It's just going to be a little bit different because with EXP we had to form a loose group, which means we don't touch your commission, we don't have hours, or we don't have anything like that. We're all just grouped together, kind of like a mastermind group. So somewhere on your emails or something of that nature, it does need to say 7S Network because that's what CoStar sees. If CoStar sees you're not part of that group and you're doing commercial, they're going to call me and be like, what's happening? Because CoStar is free. People who are investigating, we just have to be careful. That's the only way it can work with the discount. They have to say 7S Network somewhere. You're part of our network. We're going to call that loose.
So they will need to be able to have that on there. If they already have a state team name, they post EXP, the state team name that they have for their team, and the 7-Streams network all on the page. Is that what is? I just want to clarify that. That.
I am assuming, because I don't know the 100% answer, it's going to need to say in affiliation or in partnership or work in association with 7S Network, something like that. Like I said, it's a loose team, so you can still self-brand to some extent, yes. If they don't,
And we do have these standalone logos, as you can see to the right. We have them in white, black, and then this bluish kind of EXP color. So if you just you can make it small. Yeah.
And again, this has nothing to do with your rev share tree. This has nothing to do with your recruiting agents. This is a resource available to EXP agents if you choose that this is the right path for you. Everybody else you attract or through your down doesn't matter. They say that they're part of your rev share tree.
And Rebecca, that is probably actually one big point that we didn't touch on is, yes, use this for attraction. Use this to talk to commercial agents that, hey, there is an opportunity to get CoStar and LoopNet at a discounted rate. We've been pitching that to groups that we've been talking out to outside that, yes, some commercial resources are available through these means. And then we're happy to jump on a call and help solidify the attraction appointment for you, just talking about the commercial items.
Yes, we'll level 1 or 2.
And what will probably be going around along with the video is just a basic Excel sheet that you can put your name and contact info if you're interested in joining, so we can start collecting data on and getting ready for the pricing packages and everything else, so we can start releasing that within the next 2 weeks. Because in a perfect world, we would like to have this solidified and firmed up within the next 3 weeks before Christmas, so we can have this all squared away, and then we can have everyone set up to start onboarding with their CoStar access and whatever other tools that they end up signing up for, and getting you set up with Microsoft Office and everything else.
Well, I
have a
want to thank
question.
y'all for taking this.
Sorry, Nicole. I have a question about insurance. According to the most recent document, there's a certain amount of E&O insurance that does not cover commercial. You guys going to address the lack thereof?
We have been. I haven't made great headway. I saw Glenn on Saturday. They went to the Texas OU game. I talked to him for 10 minutes. He knows it's a problem. I talked to the vice president of broker operations. They know it's an issue. One thing that Glenn's really appreciate that we're at least trying to make something work on a group level. So he does appreciate, we're really trying to make this a win for everybody.
I appreciate it too, by the way.
Thank you. And one thing that he said was, well, what would it look like if at some point in the near future we actually separated and have two companies? We have EXPI, and we have EXP Residential, and then EXP Commercial, similar to what KW did. And I said, actually, that's probably what needs to happen. Because what that does is we can separate all of our stuff and look at group discounts and group stuff for just the commercial division. Because then you can say, if for the commercial division they are using it, this is what we're almost guaranteeing to have as access. Can we get a discount? And that goes along with insurance as well. If we can separate all the commercial, we can get our own insurance policy and raise those limits. So right now we have one insurance policy covering the entire country in Canada. So they're looking at it. I'm pushing all the time. I have not found, I've talked to about 5 different insurance carriers. They won't give me a good explanation of what we can and can't do because they just say we can't be secondary. We can't have you an additional rider. So they don't know what to do. You can't get your own insurance because you are not the broker doing the transaction, right? We are just working on behalf of our clients and EXP. So that's where the problem is. But if we are at EXP Commercial, honestly, if we do it, we'll go up, but I'm okay with that. At KW, we paid $6,000 last year because we were paying $80 per transaction, but that's fine. If that's what it costs to get us covered, then I'm all for it. Make it $100, I don't care. It's a cost of doing business, and it protects us just in case. So that is in the works. I don't have a yes or a specific answer for you. That's the best I can do right now. Just know that I'm on top of it because we need it. We do a lot of transactions above the $2 million mark.
Thank you for that.
Of course. Will we be able to transition our current, that is a question for them, and we have a pretty good relationship with our group. We've pushed pretty hard to get a lot of wins with them over the past 5 years. So there's a good chance, yes. Because I don't know if you all know, most people don't, but the CoStar reps get paid on how many page views people look at. That's how it is. Now, I will add one more thing, guys. At some point, EXP will have a commercial arm. And at some point, I'm hoping we will have access to tools like Build Out and CTE and cool things like that for our business. But again, I can't stress this enough. EXP will never take on the liability of CoStar and LoopNet. So it's up to us as individual or group or team or networks to come up with a workable solution that makes everybody. Because it's a one-payer system. One person is responsible for the payment every month for everybody. EXP will not take on the liability of signing up 200 people and then 50 leave the company and then not pay the bill. That's too much liability. I wish we could just get that off the table. It's not going to happen. So it's up to us to come up with a workable solution that makes sense for everybody. That's what we're trying to do. And outside of the network, you do know that at any point in time, James or myself, and Nicole, anyone else in the room, the experienced commercial agents, we're more than happy to assist whenever and wherever possible. Some deals we're working with other EXP agents with feet on the ground, like in Arizona, in Florida, where they're the feet on the ground and we're running through the transaction, doing all the back end stuff with them. So we have to take point on that to make sure it's done properly. So there are options out there where you just won't have access to the tools you need if you truly want to have a commercial career. And yeah, Scott, I'm going to pop in there for a little bit. Yeah.
And as far as the training, we're going to have 2 monthly training calls the first Monday of the month in the morning, and then the third Thursday. Some of the things that we'll do that's a little unique is we'll take actual deals that we're working on and show how we broke them down, negotiated, and went through the process. So it's not just an A through Z training over and over every week. It's a little bit different because every transaction is different. And so we want to share our experiences, or even other commercial agents that have come into a challenging transaction that would like to share with the group. We really want to make this a collaborative effort that everyone gets to benefit from. Because I know people all across the country run across problems all the time, and they find creative solutions to find a win. And so that's things that everyone in the group can learn and win from.
Yeah, on the CoStar deal, once you pass 20 people, everybody additionally is $250 a month. So, it would take us getting like 100 to get like $265 a month, right? But yeah, the more people we have, I believe if we have 25 people, it ended up being $336.23 a month. What it ended up being for the national program. We do want to thank y'all for taking the time this morning. We've been pushing for something, anything that could group us together for a long time. We finally got EXP's approved. We finally got CoStar and the state broker approval. It's been a long road of trying to get this to work. So we're going to continue to make this better and better. At some point in the future, what we'd also like to add is almost an attorney on standby, as well as contract to close, contract review. If we can get all these things in place, EXP's liability issue could or should go at least lower, because their biggest item right now is, most of us commercial experienced agents, we know more than the state broker about commercial real estate. They don't have anybody who can review these contracts and feel comfortable signing off on them. That's one of the biggest issues why they haven't started yet, because they don't have brokers in every state who understand commercial real estate and what these contracts should and need to look like for safety and liability.
We don't have a list of full-time. We do have a list of agents that either dabble or are all full-time, but it's all jumbled together. So one of the hopes with this program as well is to create a network of agents that really are invested in doing commercial real estate and practicing it day to day. Because if you think about it, if you're doing residential 90% of the time and you're doing 10% commercial, you're probably not going to join our program because it probably doesn't make sense. That's not the best use of your efforts. But with this program, this is pretty much geared towards commercial agents that need these resources and want these resources, so we can all get together and collaborate. So we're hoping to have a full-time list pretty soon.
You're putting out, Vicky.